We set a 5,000 ounce gold, and we're able to up the ante. We're in striking distance of 7,000 ounces, which is unbelievable.
What if the biggest gold strike of the century was hidden inside a place no one dared to enter? Parker Schnabel just bet his entire operation on the Widow's Cut, a collapsed frozen mine shaft rumored to hold a fortune. While his rivals called him crazy, Parker and his crew unleashed a desperate, high-tech plan that led them to an untouched vein of gold worth $75 million. The Widow's Cut, a Yukon death trap guarding a king's ransom. The thing is, in the cutthroat world of Klondike gold mining, there are places that even the bravest miners won't touch. Legends get attached to them, stories of failure and danger that become part of the land itself. One such place was the Widow's Cut, a mine shaft so notoriously dangerous, so utterly unforgiving, that it was considered off-limits, a self-harm mission. It's really strange, but the belief that this shaft was too deep and too unstable to tackle wasn't just unfounded superstition.
Now Bob's broke down. It's a real pain in the ass because everything's so far away.
First of all, the cut was reportedly covered in and surrounded by deep permafrost. You see, this isn't just frozen dirt. It's ground that has been frozen solid, as hard as concrete, for thousands of years.
When you get that point where it never gets above freezing in the days when...
You're building ice the whole time.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure that we're going to have like pipes freezing up and stuff like that.
Any attempt to excavate it, to dig down, would be incredibly risky, with the constant, terrifying threat of massive multi-ton chunks of frozen earth and rock suddenly collapsing into any man-made opening. And if that wasn't enough, it gets even deeper. There was also the huge, ever-present potential for catastrophic flooding. Any kind of water ingress, whether from melting permafrost or underground springs, had the potential to instantly compromise the stability of the shaft walls and, worse, flood and destroy millions of dollars worth of heavy mining equipment. With all these life-threatening factors coming into play,
it was season. Maybe I let my guard down. I really don't know. We spend piles of money.
Parker and his entire crew were forced to realize that if they were ever going to get their hands on the legendary gold rumored to be at the bottom of this mine, they would have to descend into what was, for all intents and purposes, a geological death trap. Considering the sheer magnitude of this challenge, it wouldn't have surprised anyone, not a single viewer of Gold Rush, if Parker and his crew had taken one look at the Widow's Cut and decided that this mine simply wasn't for them. Sure, the legends promised a ton of gold for them to extract down there, but surely it wasn't worth risking their lives and their entire operation. But here's the crazy part. That's not how Parker Schnabel thinks. In fact, rather than seeing the immense risk, it's almost as though Parker just saw another challenge, another mountain to conquer. Perhaps even more importantly, Parker saw this as a challenge that he was absolutely not going to run away from. No, they were going to make their way down that shaft, one way or another.
Just 150 miles south of the Arctic Circle, winter has hit the gold fields of the Klondike.
Faced with an impossible challenge, Parker decided to fight back, not with brute force, but with brains and high-tech eyes in the sky, a move that would lead to an unbelievable breakthrough. The acceptance of a challenge, however, doesn't make that challenge any easier. So what could? Modern technology.
Roxanne's pre-wash has impact boards to absorb the force from heavy rocks before they hit the shaker deck.
What's really going on behind the scenes is that Parker and his crew had a few secret weapons at their disposal. Aside from their usual arsenal of excavators and sluicing plants, they had the high-tech tools to survey the area in ways the old-timers could only have dreamed of. And that is exactly what they did. "Just coming to talk to you about this exact problem," Parker might have said to one of his senior crew members, staring at the forbidding landscape. "It's called permafrost for a reason, right? Because it's permanently frozen." The challenge was immense. As one of his team members noted, "I mean, it would help us a lot if it was more than like 35 degrees for at least like 4 hours. We need some warm weather." But waiting for the weather to turn wasn't an option. So, The boys got their state-of-the-art LiDAR system out. What nobody talks about is how revolutionary this technology is for miners. LiDAR, which stands for light detection and ranging, shoots out millions of laser pulses to create an incredibly detailed, three-dimensional map of the ground. And on top of all that, they paired it with advanced drone mapping techniques. Whoever came up with the combination of these tools must be a genius, because this led to a breakthrough that many miners had been trying and failing to achieve since the 1980s. You see, the team's initial plan was to dig a completely new way down into the mine, a new ramp or shaft. But with the challenges of the permafrost and the risk of flooding, that could prove to be too dangerous, too costly, and too time-consuming.
It gets pretty dangerous pretty quick. We'll do what we can.
All right, see ya.
All right, man, we'll keep after it.
Sure, they wanted to get all the gold that's down there, but at what cost? The more time they spent looking for how to get down there, the more of their precious resources, fuel, wages, time, were being burned up on endeavors that didn't actually involve extracting a single ounce of gold. If they didn't want to finish this high-stakes season at a catastrophic loss, they had to make sure they were successful with this gold mining project at the Widow's Cut, and they had to do it fast. This is where the tech paid off. The LiDAR and drone data, when stitched together, revealed something incredible, something hidden from plain sight. The lasers had peered through the earth and the overgrowth, revealing a secret that had been lost for decades, a hidden path into the heart of the treasure, a collapsed shaft and a forgotten gold vein. The truth nobody expected is that the high-tech survey found a way down.
We're still chasing gold. Mike is on the hill. He's got a lot of pay to go through.
The breakthrough came in the form of a collapsed vertical shaft, a relic of the original mining operation, completely hidden under decades of thick, tangled overgrowth. Their precise measurements told them that although it had been lost to time, the collapsed shaft was more than 40 meters deep. That's over 130 feet straight down. With some incredibly hard and dangerous work, this collapsed shaft could be their secret entrance, a way to get to the gold without having to wage an all-out war against the surrounding permafrost. After some careful examination, the team realized that their best, and perhaps only shot, was to stabilize this collapsed shaft. It was a terrifying prospect, but thanks to some heavy-duty reinforced steel beams and Parker's expert crew, they were able to create a safe enough pathway to make their way down into the darkness, into the heart of the formerly inaccessible mine. You can just imagine how reinvigorated these miners were. After weeks of frustration and staring at an impossible problem, they now had a safe, direct path down to the gold they had been dreaming of.
$38.6 ounces.
Worth just $66,000.
And what they found at the bottom was breathtaking. It didn't take them long to make their way through to an untouched, quartz-rich gold vein that had the potential to give their entire season a much-needed, multi-million-dollar boost. The vein was so pure, so pristine, that Parker's geologist on site described the work as being in the cleanest and richest natural deposit he had ever seen. Once the team was done admiring the glittering gold vein they had found, they quickly, almost frantically, got to work. After all, they didn't want to waste too much time down there. They knew that other miners in the competitive Klondike could hear whispers of this incredible discovery and decide to get some for themselves by trying to jump their claim. With that driven mindset, the team worked endlessly around the clock. This is where it gets absolutely wild. This relentless effort proved to be spectacularly effective. It only took them a little over 72 hours, 3 days of non-stop grueling work, to extract more than 4,000 ounces of gold from this incredibly rich vein. This single stunning cleanup proved to be a powerful, almost life-changing experience for the team. After extracting all that gold, they did the math. It was worth more than $10 million. That one haul should cover all their costs for things like diesel and transportation for most of the season, and then some. This was great for the team, especially as this was just the beginning for Parker, his crew, and this incredibly gold-rich mine. The $10 million score was a season saver, but an even bigger, more unbelievable treasure
So, it'd be nice to get 2 more planes on the go. Finish out the season with 4 running.
was still lurking just a little deeper in the earth. And if that wasn't enough, it gets even deeper. After some careful examination of the gold and the geology of the vein, they realized that it was a lot larger, a lot more extensive than they had initially thought. In fact, after some quick calculations based on the vein's thickness and projected length, the team figured that it actually extended another 2 kilometers, that's about 1.25 miles, further underground. This is where the numbers get truly insane. After some more calculations, taking into account the richness of the vein and its immense size, the team figured that they could potentially get another $75 million from this single gold vein. If they could pull this off, if they could actually extract that much gold, this would be incredible news for Parker and his team. This could mean that the team was going to have not just a successful season, but the most successful season in Gold Rush history. But let's not forget, while they had their work cut out for them, it wouldn't be easy. Not only would they have to keep working relentlessly on this gold vein if they were going to get their hands on all that gold, but they would also have to fight off the competitors who would come running after hearing the inevitable rumors about this quartz-rich gold vein.
You're building ice the whole time.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure that we're going to have like pipes freezing up and stuff like that.
Word got out fast, almost too fast. The moment news of Parker's amazing gold strike spread, the entire Klondike seemed to know. Other miners, crews, and even government inspectors were buzzing with excitement. Everyone wanted to see it. Everyone wanted to know what Parker had found. But Parker was ready. He had already made sure that the claim was fully legal and locked down. The land was his and his alone. No one else was getting a piece of it. Not now, not ever. And for good reason. This could be the gold find that changed everything. To Parker, this wasn't just another lucky moment. This was the one, the big one. The kind of discovery that makes all the hard years worth it. The kind of find that could make his past successes look small by comparison. He had risked a lot, money, time, and his team's trust. And now it looked like it was finally paying off in a big way. People all over the Yukon were watching. And not just watching, they were talking. Whispers started flying. Was this really the biggest gold strike of the 21st century? Had Parker just rewritten the rules of the game? And more questions were coming fast. Would this huge strike give Parker even more power in the mining world? Would jealous crews try to sneak in and take part of the land? Could he even handle the pressure of a site this massive? This wasn't just gold anymore. This was a shift in power. This was history.
Only needs 174 ounces to hit his 7,000-ounce season goal. But with the money pit paying out big gold, it could deliver much more.
Suddenly, the weight on Parker's shoulders doubled. With more money and more attention came more pressure. Everyone was looking at him now. Could he lead his team through this storm of fame, greed, and big expectations? Or would things start to fall apart? One thing was clear. This discovery would affect more than just Parker's crew. It could change everything in the Klondike. Prices could go up. Land could become more expensive. More miners might move in, hoping to find their own jackpot. It was like throwing a rock into a still lake. The ripples were going to spread far and wide. But Parker wasn't scared. He was focused. This was the moment he had been working toward for years. And he wasn't going to let it slip away. He knew what it took to survive in the Yukon. He had seen bad seasons. He had fought through equipment breakdowns, rough land, and bitter cold. But this was different. This was a chance to become something more. A legend. Some say he just got lucky. Others believe it was all instinct. But no matter how it happened, one thing is certain. Parker Schnabel just made his mark in gold. And the story isn't over yet. What comes next? Will he keep control of this massive operation? Will his team rise to the challenge? Or will the weight of it all become too much? Whatever happens, one thing is true. The king of the Klondike has spoken, and the world is listening. Parker Schnabel's $75 million gamble paid off, turning a death trap into a legendary jackpot. But with a discovery this big, has he just invited a new kind of danger?